want to talk about one of my favorite Chat GPT use cases that I don't see a lot of people using, even though it's surprisingly simple to do. And that's having a conversation with a book. So let me explain the use case here. So typically I'll, read a book and find a lot of the information interesting, and I have questions that I can't answer because I don't have access to the author, right? Well, Chat GPT can help us out with that. So I want to show an example of what this looks like so that you can, basically copy and paste what I'm doing and have your own conversations. So in this example, I'm going to pretend that I have questions about the content within the book Extreme Ownership, which is one of my favorite leadership books that there is. And if you know me, that's no surprise at all. It's written by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. So let's pretend that we have some questions here. So the prompt that I wrote is, pretend you are an expert with all of the concepts discussed in the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. I'm going to ask you questions about the book to help reinforce my understanding of the concepts. I would like for you to respond to my questions as it relates to the material in the book. Please let me know if you understand. I always like to put this, please let me know if you understand at the end of it, because ChatGPT will then reply to you confirming what it is that you want. And as long as you gave it the correct instructions, which typically, I'll mess that up sometimes, then you'll know that the prompt is good and you can continue going forward. So let's see what happens. So he says, of course, I understand your request. And that's what I wanted to do. So now step 2, let's follow up with our question. So I wrote up this question. So in chapter 2, no bad teams, only bad leaders, I had a hard time understanding the application of business. Will you please summarize the lessons learned and share another real world example that could be applied to business using this concept? So the structure of this book, each chapter has 2 examples. There's a military example on how this leadership lesson was discovered or applies to the military. And then the second example is what they call application of business, which is how that lesson applies to the civilian world or corporate America, right? So I'm asking, hey, can you give me another example? Maybe that example in the book didn't resonate with where I work or where I live or just my situation. I want something a little bit more personalized that will help me understand. So let's fire away here. All right, and here it goes. So in chapter 2, wow, it's giving us a lot. So the central lesson of the chapter is that leaders must take ownership of everything within their sphere of influence, including mistakes and shortcomings, rather than blaming their teams. So here's the summary of the key lessons. Very nice. It gives us, some bullet points. And then let's see the example it gives us. So scenario, imagine a manager in a tech company who is overseeing a software development team. The team is consistently missing project deadlines and delivering products with multiple defects. Traditional approach. In a traditional blame-shifting approach, the manager might blame the development team for being slow and not paying enough attention. This can create a toxic work environment, reduce morale, etc. You may have seen this in the professional world. This is saying the extreme ownership approach, so applying what we've learned here, analyze the root cause, take ownership of the role. Like, did I set clear expectations? Did I provide the appropriate resources? You see where I'm going with this. I can get a more tailored response to what I'm doing, which is tremendously helpful. So that's really it. And don't let this be the only thing you can do here. So you can, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin have written 3 books, I believe now. So you could have it, you can have a conversation about all 3 of those books instead of just one. So just something to think about. Hopefully this is useful, and hopefully you can have some conversations with books here pretty soon.